I'm Leonard Riggs, and this is my podcast from my head to your ears. It's been a while. Sorry. Had my class reunion. It's come and gone. And I thought, wow, I haven't fooled around with my podcast in a while, so I figured I better get one done. I always toss about ideas, and of late I've been dealing with my house and work, and I've just been kind of busy. And so I haven't been totally inspired to do a podcast. My reunion went really well. We had a good time. Saw a lot of people. We had a pretty good turnout out of a class of 74. I think we had, by a head count by me in the class picture, I think 28. That's not too bad of a turnout for a 40-year reunion. We had 8 people who were deceased, and the rest of the class, we heard from a lot of them on Facebook who couldn't attend. So we had a great time. It went really well, and thank you for listening to my last podcast about the reunion. I just love those people dearly. We shared a lot of experiences and shared our wonder years together, and I think it's amazing to see them, and I'm just glad I went. Good times. Anyway, I am going to take a break, and I'll be right back with my podcast from my head to your ears.
From my head to your ears, I'll be right back. Riding on a midnight groove, no need to pack. Thoughts spinning like vinyl, the needle drops low. Every beat a secret only you'll know.
I'm Leonard Riggs, and this is my podcast from my head to your ears. And I want to be upfront about something that a classmate pointed out, and I've had several people point out. My smoke alarm beeps in the background, and you probably can hear it, and it drives me crazy, but I kind of have gotten used to it, so I don't notice it. I do have a different smoke alarm. The one I have is hot wired into the house, and it's way up high, and it needs disconnected. It's not working. So I've just kind of gotten used to this beep, but it drives everybody crazy that hears it. You can hear it in my videos on social media. You can hear it on my podcast. I've thought about turning the name of my podcast into the Smoke Alarm Beep podcast. I don't know. Apparently that's a big joke among social media users, because I had a guy repost and tag one of my TikTok videos with the smoke alarm tag. Apparently that's a big thing. You can hear it in the background of certain people's videos. I don't know. Whatever. But I want to apologize for that, and I think I'm going to take a hammer to it because it's really annoying. And anyway, upfront apologies. But what I want to talk about today, is just how time just is slipping away so quickly. And they say as you get older, time flies by faster, and I'm beginning to believe that. But I talk to kids that come in my store, and I'm like, does it seem like it's like no time at all between, start of school and Christmas vacation, say? And they're like, yeah, it goes really fast. But I remember when I was in school, the beginning of school to Christmas vacation was a million years. And it seemed like it took forever between Thanksgiving and Christmas. But I guess, truthfully, I understand on my end how as you get older, time flies faster, but it really seems like it really, really is flying faster. It's like my reunion. It's almost a month ago, just a few weeks ago now. It's just like, oh my gosh. You don't seem to have time to stop and enjoy anything. Just before you know it, it's 2 days later and it's just a memory. I had 3 days off this week and this is my third day. And I've been working on a project that I got nowhere on. I was trying to get my window units, put it into the house. And let me tell you something, with 7 cats, 6 in the house most of the time, 1 kind of roams. Doing anything is impossible without help. And, I sat there and pondered, how am I going to do this? And I don't want them to get out. I don't let my indoor cats out. Now, my oldest cat, girlfriend, now she wonders. She was a stray and she's street smart, but the rest of my cats, other than Nacho, she was also a stray. So, but she wants no part of the outside. But like my Livy, she is an escape artist and she will run and it'll be hours trying to get her back in the house. And I don't want her out because right now in Southern Illinois, it's real buggy out. Plus there's a lot of feral cats around my house and they're mean. And I don't want her to get in a fight. I just don't want her outside. Even though she longs to climb a tree and be a cat, it's kind of depressing. I get it, but for her own safety, I want her to stay in the house. I let him look out the window. I found a YouTube channel that has cat stuff on it. Like it has 8 hours of birds and that mesmerizes them. But also I use the laser pointer to play with them. But she is my worst escape artist, followed by Isaac, which surprises me. Isaac is rotten, but he's sweet too. Isaac's a good kitty except when he's not. Now, lately, my cats have been taken to peeing on me, and I'm not sure what that's about. I've looked it up, and it could be a medical, blah, 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 but everybody's like, take him to the vet. Yeah, take him to the vet. I have, $7 billion laying around. I don't think they're sick. They don't act sick. They eat good. I think it's a lot to do with my, change in my habits. Here lately I come home and I crawl in bed and take a nap because I don't know, I just get really exhausted at work and I sleep a lot. Honestly, I will admit I was kind of depressed last month. I don't like the month of May. Too many bad anniversaries and oh gosh, Mother's Day and Father's Day are just so hard on me. This year in particular was terrible because it was my first, Mother's Day, Father's Day without both my parents, and grief is so damn weird and unpredictable how you're going to act. You can't predict how things are going to strike you every month, and I don't like it. I hate to feel bad, but I really just wanted to crawl under a rock and hide that whole month. Thank God for my class reunion. It gave me something to look forward to. But I also don't like this weather that we're having. We went right into the humidity, and I said we would, and it's been humid for a couple weeks now, and I cannot do anything when it's humid. And my air conditioner units needed replaced, and like I said, I've still got to replace my bedroom one, but I got my living room one done after 2 days of trial and error. I had bought a unit, a standalone unit that actually, you put a window kit on and it stands up in your living room. But I realized that wasn't going to work in my living room because the cats. So I had to invest in another window unit. My central air is out and I've decided not to get it fixed. I'm going to get a new furnace, but I'm not going to put central air on it because I live by myself and I can just cool off the rooms as I need. as need be. So anyway, the standalone unit's going to go in my kitchen. It'll work much better in there. Actually, it's perfect for in there. So that's where that's going. And the cats won't bother it in there, hopefully. But I laugh. Anytime I get anything new, my cats jump on top of whatever I'm bringing in. They have to lay on it. So I'm pushing this thing through the door by myself. And I get in the door, fighting my cat, Livy, who is trying to escape. And then I get it through the door, shut the storm door, and, Sunny and Livy are always the first to crawl on it and make themselves at home. Well, I can't move it with them on it. So I'm sweating. I'm aggravated. I'm probably saying several bad words. I probably sound like I'm killing my cats, but I'm not. I'm just totally frustrated. And, anyway, I get it in the house, and of course I get a phone call. So I stop, and then I look up, and 4 cats are sitting on the unit. And then I realize, oh, damn, the standalone unit. The controls are on the top. That's not going to work either, because I had a heater with the controls on the top, and they kept turning it off and on because they always were getting on it, and I didn't want them on it. So anyway, that was my dilemma. So it took me 2 days to get this damn air in the living room. And boy, when I got it in, it was wonderful and is working really well. I did not have the right BTU rating for my living room on the other one. And I did some research and I found out I needed a stronger one. So I got it, and it's working so wonderfully. It's so nice to wake up and walk in there and not die. I literally was just melting, and me and humidity do not get along, as I said before. So anyway, the saga of the air conditioning units. Now I want to clean my living room, and here I sit doing my podcast. And it goes back to the time thing. Because I do not seem to have enough time in the day to do everything I want. And a lot of times I end up taking old man naps, and that irritates the daylights out of me because it's such a waste of time. My dad used to get so mad at me because I slept in the day, because back in the day I worked midnight shifts, and I guess he figured I could get by on 5 minutes of sleep. He'd run the vacuum cleaner, hit the door, did everything to wake me up. It was nice when I had my own house on Mulkey Street, because I'd go home and sleep a good solid 9 to 5. And that's back when I was a steady midnight shift worker. But when I moved back over here after my parents started ailing, it was nearly impossible to get any sleep because they would not let me. My dad would anyway. My mom would. Oh, I don't know. And you know, excuse me, how rude, yawning in my podcast. Speaking of time flying by, I've been going through a lot of pictures and playing with them and restoring them, because I've got an ongoing project of putting pictures on my wall in the living room, trying to brighten up things. And I realized my dad would have been 100 years old on August 14th. 100. I wished he could have lived to see that. That would have been quite a thing. But, boy, is he in a better place than we are. So, I really just, find that hard to believe that he would be that old. Mom was 93 when she passed. She was 7 years younger than him. I think 7. Yeah, I think so. Anyway, that is what's going on in my life. That is why I haven't podcasted in a while. I've just been busy, and time flies, and you realize, oh my, it's been almost a month since I podcasted, so I better get one out there to make sure I don't lose my audience. I'm going to take a breather here, and I'll be right back. This is From My Head to Your Ears, and I'm Leonard Riggs. I'll be back.
From my head to your ears, let the music appear. No distance between us, just jazz in the air. I'll be right back, don't you fear. Every note I play brings me near.
I'm Leonard Riggs, and this is my podcast, From My Head to Your Ears, and I'm back. Yay. Talking about the passage of time, and one of the things at my reunion that I thought was cute was I had a reunion of me and my three girls that we'd play Charlie's Angels on the playground back in grade school, and we got a picture, and it was sweet. My friends Lisa Monteggia, Lisa Monteggia, and Angie Basolo, Bond, Lori Batson Hubbard, and myself, and we'd always play Charlie's Angels, and I was always Bosley or the bad guy, one or the other, but either way, they all beat the crap out of me. And I liked it. A little weirdo that I was, but it was funny. We got a good picture, and I won't elaborate on what happened in the picture. But I swear people thought I was drunk at the reunion. I was not. I was very tired because I had to get up at 5 that day, and it was kind of hot outside. And I cannot see in the dim light. So as dusk came on, as the sun went down, I was tripping over stuff. And anyway, and Lisa, if you're out there and listening, I spilled ice in your purse accidentally. I'm pretty sure when we took that picture, because I was, among other things that I will not get into. But I met her husband, and he was standing right by, and he's a total sweetheart. And she flew all the way from, I believe, Texas, and she's a brain surgeon. And we're taking the picture, and I had my ice cup in my hand. I didn't have very much ice left, but I think I dumped it in her purse. So, Lisa, on your... It was one of those things that I didn't even realize until I was... I thought, oh, crap, I think I dumped my ice in her purse. So I just pictured her getting in her purse and everything being wet. So that was my fault. I admit it. I'm sorry. I love you. Oh, I am really, I really do put the all in socially awkward. Okay. Oh my gosh. But, yeah, that happened. But again, I cannot believe all this time has gone. Here we are, a bunch of 50-somethings, you know, at our 40th reunion. It just blows my mind. This summer was a bunch of anniversaries for movies and things. Jaws is 50 years old this year. Now, I watch Jaws every 4th of July. To me, that's my 4th of July standby movie. I always, ever since I worked midnights a few years back, I don't know how many years I've been doing it, and I really couldn't enjoy the 4th of July. I would always at least watch Jaws in the afternoon before I went to bed, and we'd have picnic stuff. So that became a tradition with me, and I always get watermelon and everything. And I'd share it with my mom and dad, and then just me and mom, and now just me and the cats. So it's a little different now, but I will be watching Jaws this year. I think they just re-released the soundtrack, totally remastered. Excuse me and stuff. That's an awesome soundtrack. But Jaws was the first summer blockbuster of our era, of our time. And I remember my sisters going to see it, my sister Lori and Kim and Cindy. And Kim and Cindy were still kind of teenagers, and Lori was married at that point and had a car, and my brother-in-law Tom was stationed in Greenland. So we had a lot of quality time with my sister at that point, and my nephews were babies, little. I wasn't allowed to go because I was too young, although I would have loved to have gone. But I still remember the story of my sister going. My sister Lori hated scary movies. Hated them. And I still remember Kim and Cindy coming back and just laughing because the scene where they're underwater and they come across the boat and the guy's head pops out with his eyeball popped out. My sister jumped so hard. They laughed at her. We still laugh about that. She just did not like horror films at all. I digress on this a little bit, but I still remember Alien. She went to see Alien with my brother-in-law Tom, and she just was horrified by it. And of course, that was 1979. I was 12 and read Fangoria magazines. I was deeply into horror films at that point. Me and my buddy Craig and Terry. And I knew all about Alien, even though I hadn't seen it. But she was telling my mom, "Oh my God, Mom, this is so horrible. I threw up." She's just going on and on. It was so awful. Then she told me to leave the room because she was going to tell her about the alien popping out of the guy's stomach. And I looked at her and I said, "Oh, you're talking about the alien popping out of the guy's stomach?" And she says, "Oh, you know?" Oh, yes, like, of course I know. Gosh darn, if my mom saw what was in Fangoria magazine, she'd have freaked out. I never really bought Fangoria. That was one of the magazines I looked at the grocery store when Mom and Dad were shopping. I did buy a few issues of Starlog, though, although those books were kind of expensive for their time. No, they weren't kind of expensive. They were really expensive, actually. So every now and then I would buy one if someone I really loved was on the cover. I think Nichelle Nichols from Star Trek was on the cover one time. I had to get that one because I loved Uhura from Star Trek. I loved Star Trek, period, but I had a big crush on Nichelle Nichols at that time. And speaking of time, and this is weird, gosh, Nichelle Nichols passed away in 2022, August of 2022, I believe. And Olivia Newton-John passed just a little bit later. And I thought, wow, the two women I had on my wall the most were gone at the same time. And someone had painted this cute little illustration, sweet. It was more sweet and melancholy, really, but of Lieutenant Uhura and Sandy from Greece holding hands, flying to heaven. And I thought that was, for me, it was poignant, but, wow. What were the chances of them both passing away 2 weeks apart or a week apart? I'll have to look the dates up, but, it was around the same time. Of course, Nichelle was a little older than Olivia, but honestly, two of my favorite women ever. Two remarkable women. I'm very proud to have been fans of those two women because if you look up Nichelle Nichols' life, she was an amazing woman. That's probably a good podcast for later, but she toured with Duke Ellington. She helped recruit minorities and females into the space program. She worked a lot with NASA. She put her role as Lieutenant Uhura, she put it to good use and did a lot of really good things with that. And Olivia Newton-John, again, I still find out things about her and her ancestry and just the person she was. And I'm like, I'm so proud to have been fans of these ladies. They really, really were remarkable people. Of course, Olivia, really trying to get, her government to allow cannabis as a treatment for cancer. Plus, Olivia has a cancer center in Australia that is leading in the world with cancer research. And as fate would have it, Olivia met and married John Easterling, who is a botanist, and he really helped her live a quality life at the end of her life with her cancer by using cannabis. He would make her tinctures and oils with it. She didn't smoke a joint, but she might have, I don't know, but he mostly gave it to her in a liquid form or something to put on her tongue, and it would really help her with her pain. And she really got out there and promoted that at the end of her life. And her cancer center, almost everything she did in the last 20 years of her life was geared towards getting that cancer center running and built and letting it come to fruition. And I'm very proud of that, and I'm proud of that I'm such a fan of hers. And I did my senior thesis on her when I was 18, and I got an A, so she helped me pass high school on top of everything. But I found out so many fascinating things about her then, like her grandfather was a Nobel Prize winner for physics, and he was Einstein's best friend, and although Olivia never got to meet Einstein, I don't believe she got to meet her grandfather, actually, but her grandmother she did. And she talks about how strict she was. I believe that was a grandmother. Anyway, I digress, and I went off into that subject, but I was just thinking about how strange it was how they died around the same time, when I was such big fans of both of theirs. And geez, they've been gone for almost 3 years now. It's hard to believe. Yeah. So anyway, I'm going to take a break, and I'll be right back with more of From My Head to Your Ears. I'm Leonard Riggs, and this is my podcast From My Head to Your Ears, and I'm talking about time flying. It's really just crazy. And by the way, I looked up, Nichelle Nichols passed away on July 30th, 2022, and Olivia Newton-John passed away on August 8th, 2022. So just a little over a week apart. And Nichelle Nichols had Alzheimer's at that point, and Olivia Newton-John, of course, succumbed to breast cancer and the complications from it. It had metastasized from her breast into her whole body and her back and everywhere. And anyway, my sister Lori died a similar way. Also, her breast cancer pretty well metastasized into her lungs and things, and finally in her brain. Oddly enough, my sister Lori died in August 28th last year. And I understand why I don't like summer very much. So it seems like a lot of important people passed in my summer months, from celebrities that I love to my family and everything else. I don't know. I don't want to be a Debbie Downer. I kind of worry that I've turned into that. I tell everybody I'm a big black hole of despair, and it is true. I believe you me, I'm not embracing being miserable. It just is, I'm dealing with it, and people got to realize my whole life has changed. I mean, not just my family. I've lost 4 members of my family we've got 3 of us left now, my immediate family, not counting my nephews and nieces. but I've lost my mom and dad and my 2 older sisters and my grandma and, you know, the older people in my life. Now we're in the forefront of the old people, and it's a weird place to be, but really my whole life has changed. My manager retired this year. I've got a new manager who's doing great. Hey, Judy. And, in my town, my mayor retired. We got a new mayor. The police chief retired. We have an acting police chief. These people are all important in my life, and it's all different now. It's like, wow. I think I said in my podcast at the beginning of the year that I think 2025 would be a transitional year, and it has been. If I didn't say it, I thought it. I meant to say it, but I'm sitting here with this mess of a house and just going, wow. I feel like a tornado went through my life and just tore everything up, and I'm left to pick up the pieces and start all over again. So, I'll be 60 years old at the end of next year. 60. Again, with the theme of the time. It just, Jesus, 60 years of my life has gone by. My grandma Qualls was 60 when I was born. So, I don't want to rush things because I'll only be 59 this year. So, but just to think that that's that little bit of a time left. Wow. And then you get to thinking, after you've lost so many people, you get to worrying, you know, well, who's next? But you gotta not think that way. You gotta, honest to God, it's like distracting a child from something they don't need to be doing. I have to distract myself from thinking like that because it's not a good way to be all the time. And truthfully, I remember people ask me how I was doing at the reunion, and I'm like, oh, I'm trying to get a tombstone for my parents. You know, it's like, okay, Leonard, we're here to have fun, not to talk about death. But it really was kind of a theme for a lot of us at that reunion because, we had pictures. I helped work on pictures of our deceased class members, and they came out really good, and they scattered their pictures on the tables, and they looked really nice. But I thought, wow, my goal is not to be a picture on the table at the next reunion. And I had a couple other classmates think the same thing. It really is a reality check. Death is. It's just kind of sobering. And it makes you want to appreciate time more. I really have a hard time dealing with people who get so angry over frivolous things. Like, I work in retail, and you get people that get so furious over a receipt not printing on the gas pumps, or you shorted them a penny, or, you know, just little petty things, and you want to be like, get real. You know, it's like, why are you so mad about such idiotic things? Why are you wasting your energy being mad? It happens. Anyway, that's just the way I feel about that. But nothing makes you realize the passage of time other than children. They will make you feel so old. I saw another class graduate this year out of Christopher High School, and I've literally watched a lot of these kids go from newborns to high school graduates. It blows my mind that time flies that fast. But it's such a cool thing to me to watch people grow up, and I consider that a privilege to know people all their life. I don't know how else to say that. I like that a lot of people consider me a touchstone. They see me at that counter, and I've been something constant in their lives. and hopefully a good memory, and hopefully I've made them laugh or made them smile, or hopefully I wasn't too big of an annoyance. You know, I am approaching my 35th year at my job, and I think my next podcast will be about that, because that's coming up next month, actually, July 11th. Pretty sure that will be my next podcast, because 35 years is a pretty big deal to be somewhere that long. And to see the things that I've seen and experience the things that I've experienced. But, yeah, time is just, goes way, way, way too fast. I think I'm going to take a break, and I'm probably going to wrap this up. I'm Leonard Riggs. This is my podcast, From My Head to Your Ears. And this is my podcast, From My Head to Your Ears, and I'm talking about time flying by. Speaking of which, this is my, I believe, 77th episode of From My Head to Your Ears. 77. Ha! That's crazy. Hold on, I don't remember my first, I have absolutely lost track, of my podcast. Let me see. I'm checking out. I've been doing this podcast for almost 3 years now. Isn't that insane? Talk about time fly. Oh, got stuck there. Flying by. That's just hard for me to believe. So I think coming in November, I'll have a 3-year anniversary for this podcast. Wow. And thanks for listening. I get a lot of compliments. I love it. I love that you're listening. I was a big hit with my classmates. They really liked my podcast. I appreciated that. That made me feel really special. I want to shout out to Joe Bullock, our class president, and Angie Basolo Bond. You guys are so great. We lost our treasurer. I believe he was our treasurer, or maybe we lost one of our class officers, Del Pinkham. Not only a good friend of mine, but my cousin. He died actually in the summer a few years ago. Still can't believe he's gone. I walk into the reunion and there's his picture. First thing I see. And I was like, oh, he's here with us. Del was a raucous, fun, loving guy, loud like me. I think that's where our resemblance as relatives stops. Del loved life. I think I said this in the last podcast. He loved life and lived life and just was one of my favorite people on the planet. And I got to have a really fun conversation with him before he passed suddenly of a heart attack, and I still can't believe he's gone. It just still blows my mind. Again, with the death thing, sorry. Death is just a part of life, I guess, and a part of the passing of time. But anyway, 3 years into my podcast, and I really wanted to make a t-shirt for my podcast. I think I'm going to do that for myself. Just for fun. I should sell them maybe, huh? I don't have that kind of time or energy or the money to do that. So that would be that's really kind of being silly anyways. I don't know that anybody would want it. From My Head to Yours t-shirt. Wouldn't that be cool though to see everybody walking around with that? Hey, there's a goal, right? I do this podcast for really just for fun. I'm not making any money at it. It'd be nice if I could, but I'm not worried about it. It's just a way of living my dream of being a broadcaster when I was younger. The fact that I can do it, it's awesome. I'm almost 60 years old. I don't know what life holds for me in the future. Talking about time. The future is another aspect of time. Honestly, at this point in my life, it's all just going to unfold. I don't have any really big goals. I'd like to retire. I would like to go to Maine. My cousin Scott and his lovely wife Laura just went to Maine, and I was totally jealous, but someday I'll get to go. Right now I've got my cats. I did get a trip to the Bahamas, I think, for my company for my 35 years, but I turned it down. I'm going to take the cash equivalent. I can't leave my cats. So there's that. But I really, 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 really don't feel like going on a trip like that right now. The world is kind of in a state of weirdness. So plus I can't fly with my eye the way it is. So, you know, that is what it is. I think it's exciting that I work for a company that offers that sort of thing and rewards you for 35 years of a job, and it makes you feel special. Again, I will be doing a podcast in my 35 years at my job. Later. Closer to the anniversary on July 11th. I try not to mention where I work because I'm not so sure they would like me to do that. Not that they hate that I do a podcast, but I just don't want to get in trouble, so I avoid it. If I said their name, oops. I'm sorry. I really don't know what I just said. I'm kind of flying by the seat of my pants on these podcasts, and I think I've done pretty good self-censoring. Hopefully. Every now and then I get done with a podcast and I kind of like, oh, did I say that? And I really don't have time to listen to the whole thing back. So I just hope I never offended anybody, because I've never, ever, ever intended to do that, and would not intend to do that, and would be totally mortified if I did. So anyway, that being that. Having said that, speaking of time passing, I have been doing this for 45 minutes now, and I probably need to get up and feed the cats, and I need to put my air conditioner in, and I need to finish straightening my living room. I need to do my laundry. I go back to work tomorrow. I need to eat lunch. I need to do a Walmart order again. So life goes on, and I must proceed in living my life. So I'm going to say Avita Zane, and I will be back with another podcast soon, and most likely that will be my 35-year job podcast. Oh, but what I'd like to say is time flies by. Don't waste it. Try to make the most of every minute. Doing something you love, doing something for people you love, or even just relaxing. I don't think that's a waste of time to relax. And like I said, I take old man naps, but sometimes I need to. I get up at 5 a.m. and I still don't get much sleep. I'm still on the same schedule I was when I took care of Mom, and I can't sleep at night. A lot of times it's midnight or so before I go to bed, and then I only get 4 or 5 hours of sleep, and it adds up during the week. So when I get a day off, I'm really tired. So it was nice to have 3 days off this week, needless to say. This podcast was about time passing, but it was also about a whole lot of other stuff. I kind of flew with it, and I always enjoy when you guys listen. I said it again. I can't say it enough. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And hopefully, you guys have a great summer. I'm Leonard Riggs, and this was my podcast, From My Head to Your Ears. See you around next time.